I was almost born in Cambodia. You see, my mother was born there, and my grandmother, and my great-grandmother. And if I had been born there, my life as a woman would have been very different. In Cambodia, there's a famous 19th century poem that dictates how a woman should behave. It's called the Chabab Srey. It translates to Rules for Women. I want you to imagine if these were the rules here. Imagine how you or your loved ones would go. Don't walk so fast that your skirt makes a sound. Don't go on a walk to someone's house. Don't sit on the steps in front of your house. People will think you're waiting on a boy. Don't talk loudly, and don't laugh loudly. Now, I don't know about you, but I must confess to the crime of loud talking. And I must confess to the even greater crime of loud laughing. So if I had been born in Cambodia, my life would have been very different indeed. And I've been able to gain a little insight into what that life could have been, because for the past 4 years, I've been living and working in Cambodia with good return. The rules for women are so influential there that they were taught across government schools in full. Do you know when they stopped teaching the full version? 2007. And some of the verses are still taught today. Some of the rules for women may just sound quaint, but I've seen these rules confine women into a position of silence and inequality. You see, the rules for women also say, remember that you are female, so don't say any word that implies that you are equal to your husband. Men are gold. Women are white cloth. Gold is strong and can be cleaned. White cloth is weak. Once stained, it cannot be clean again. In 2017, the World Economic Forum did a global study of gender parity. Can you guess where Cambodia ranked? That's right, Guy, down there. It was 99th out of 144 countries. 99th. Imagine what this means for women like Saran. I met Saran 3 years ago in Kampong Spur province, a rural part of Cambodia. Saran was a 28-year-old rice farmer living with her husband, Chantar, and their 2 children. I met Saran because one day her husband got sick. He was so sick that he couldn't work. And that meant that there was no longer 2 people who could work on the family farm. It was just Saran. She was worried. What would she do to bring in income to keep her family afloat? If you think about a time in your life where you were worried about money, were you able to think about anything else? Probably not. We all know when we're worried about money, it can affect every part of our lives. But when we feel in control of money, like we have a plan, like we can do something about it, then we feel hopeful. Saran was someone who grew up with the rules for women in her ears at school and echoed in her community. But she decided not to listen to those rules and restrictions. She decided to listen to her own ideas. She came up with her own plan. Saran took out a small loan equal to about 500 Australian dollars, a loan funded by Good Return supporters and aimed at rural women with little access to financial services like savings and credit, the kinds of services that many of us use and take for granted. Saran knew that the family had a trailer, a broken trailer. So with that small loan, she did 2 things. 1, she repaired the trailer and started selling firewood. And 2, she bought fertilizer, seeds, and other supplies to improve the productivity of her farm. Saran knew that with her husband unable to work, she had to come up with new ways of earning income. She had to make an investment without quite knowing whether the rewards would come through. So how did her plan go? Well, When I met Saran, about 10 months after she'd taken the business loan, she was proud to tell me one thing. She'd been so productive that she was able to pay off the loan early. And now she had more plans for the farm. She wanted to buy pigs and ducks for raising and selling. And what did Saran and Chantal want to do with their earnings? Well, a very Sydney side of thing, home improvement. But Saran's dream was simple. She wanted to buy windows and doors. Because the reality in Cambodia is that while poverty has been reduced dramatically, the World Bank's 2013 report showed us that many people are still vulnerable to slipping back into poverty. Do you know what a loss of only 30 cents per day in income would do? It would throw an estimated 3 million Cambodians back into poverty, doubling the poverty rate to 40%. So for women like Saran, accessing a loan is about having a say in the future. It's about becoming an equal decision maker, someone who is valued for wise money decisions, someone who can speak up with new ideas, someone who can keep the family out of poverty. Saran's loan was $500, and with that loan, she transformed a dire medical emergency into prosperity for her family. So with $15,000 here tonight, we can give 30 women like Saran the opportunity to reach their full potential. With $30,000, we can give 60 women, 60, a whole village full, the opportunity to reach their full potential and finally have their ideas heard. We can give these women the opportunity to become equal decision makers in their families and in the future of their country. So that when we leave here tonight, we can leave knowing that we've contributed to a more equal world. A world where women, like Saran, can find out that they're not the white cloth, they're the gold. Thank you.